You are listening to 600 Saga. Today's feature is The BodyShare by John McLaughlin. She thumbs aside one strap of her bra and inspects the bite mark on her shoulder. The curtain of her dirty blonde hair contrasts the wound, now tender and flared red. Ugh, she grates to herself. I'm reporting this one. Heather's no prude. Sure, the normal wear and tear was expected. Bruises from a good spanking, a scratch here and there, even a hollering neck hickey. But this sucker hurt. Looked like it could even get infected. And she wouldn't be earning a dime Friday night with this gruesome thing on her shoulder. The weekend meant surge pricing, when a young city girl like Heather could bank the month's rent and more, courtesy of the pervy old men and envious women who would pay to ride around in her body. She turns from the dust-streaked wall mirror, sits at her desk, and logs into her BodyShare account. Welcome back, Indigo Delight. Scrolling through her history, she finds P-Steak 87. Her most recent rider was online just 4 minutes ago. Gotcha. She taps the warning flag next to his grinning frog avatar. Report rider, personal damage, amount. Heather ponders for a moment, then decides $50. And she attaches a photo of the bite for good measure. That'll teach him to be careful for next time. She cracks a smile as his reputation score sinks 2 points. Heather, you eat yet? Her roommate Colleen is leaning in through the open door, one arm lazily gripping the frame. I'm ordering Chinese. Thanks, Call, but I'm good, she answers and quickly drapes her shoulder with a nearby towel. Okay. Colleen was all right, mostly. When Heather first moved into the rundown flat shortly after she'd created her BodyShare profile and begun leasing the corpus to the masses, her new roommate couldn't stop giving her grief about it. How can you let strangers control your body like that? She'd stammer. Like you're some puppet. I don't care how much money you pull. It's crazy dangerous is what it is. And then Heather would calmly explain about the BodyShare's built-in neural fail-safes, the background checks on riders, the real-time human monitors who would randomly cast into a body, observe for any criminal behavior, and then give the thumbs up. All clear. Everything's fine here. Naturally, these apologia had failed to move Colleen an inch, but the two had still reached a friendly, if not precarious, understanding. Heather's finger jumps reflexively to the back of her neck, traces the now faded scar line where the subdermal trodes are buried. Funny how memory works like that. She feels the faint hum of the servo along the knobby ridge of her cervical spine. P-Steak 87. You're gonna pay for that. I'm banned for 24 hours. An instant message is flickering on the corner of her laptop screen. This freak again? Indigo Delight. Want to make it a week? Screenshotted. Message me again and I report harassment. Exasperated, Heather shoves off from the desk and starts pulling on her cotton nightshirt. Her stomach growls under the ripples of white fabric. Maybe I could go for some Chinese after all. She had to give Colleen credit. The girl was definitely right on one count. The BodyShare riders were creeps. Some of the most undeniable degenerates she'd encountered anywhere on the web. Heather thanked the silicone gods that Elisa's short-term memory was wiped after each session, although those fragments were saved to the server's banks somewhere under the San Fran bedrock for an undisclosed length of time. Hey, Call, did you order already? She shouts toward the door. Could you add some... Without warning, Heather violently lashes out her left shin, striking the bed and nearly toppling over in the process. She sees stars for a moment, grasps at the flayed skin carved out by her mattress frame, tears welling in her eyes, but she fights them back. P-Steak 87. $200 or I'd do it again. It takes a long moment to process what she reads. Impossible, she thinks. Policer could only put themselves up for access from a secure BodyShare locker, and only after said user had confirmed with both their biometric ID and passcode. It was the most basic, non-negotiable rule of the app. "What's that noise?" Colleen's voice carries from the living room. "Are you okay?" "Fine," Heather barks, steadying herself against the pain. The last thing she needs is her roommate flipping out. Beefsteak 87. "I know what you're thinking. Yes, it's possible. Clever loophole." Indigo Delight. "I'm calling the police." Beefsteak 87. "Nah." Heather finds that her lower body is still frozen in place, literally motionless in the desk chair. Although she still commands use of her torso and arms, she can still type. Indigo Delight. "What do you want?" Beefsteak 87. $500. Indigo Delight. "How do I know you'll stop?" Beefsteak 87. $500 and I'll give you the axon break. Repeat the words and the signal's canceled." She takes a minute. Indigo Delight. "F you." Beefsteak 87. "I'll give you 5 to rethink that." But a sudden realization strikes her. Their living room fire escape was a dead zone. Its tight latticework of dirt speckled metal formed a kind of pseudo-Faraday shield overlooking the shadowed alley below. If she could drag herself onto its surface, this psychopath would lose his command signal. She captains her wheeled swivel chair, yanking herself along hand over hand, venturing out from her bedroom and toward the open window. Finally clutching the threshold, she heaves herself into the chilled autumn night and lands sprawled across the grating. The connection lost. She can feel it in the sudden untensing of her limbs. Her implanted radio electrodes will continue to search, but she'll have called the police in the meantime. And then the networks. At least a few Silicon Valley boys will roast for this mistake. A moment later, Colleen peeks out of the galley kitchen, headphones blaring and a strainer full of steaming linguine in her grip. She dials down the volume. "What the hell are you doing out there?" For the first time in a long while, Heather laughs easily. I'll never complain about a weak signal again." This was The BodyShare by John McLaughlin. John was trained as a scientist and has recently turned his hand to fiction. His flash pieces have appeared in Flash Fiction Magazine, The Drabble, and Literally Stories, among others. Music is provided by Mads. Learn more about 600 Second Saga, our authors, how to submit your flash fiction, and how to support the podcast in the show notes. This has been Mariah Avix and 600 Second Saga.